Welcome to Fantasy Hockey TimBits. This is my first episode of the season. I know it's a little late, but life happens. What are you going to do? Now, the following teams are playing 4 times this week, so you want to pay attention especially to the depth adds from these clubs, starting with Arizona, Calgary, Detroit, Minnesota, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Lightning, the Maple Leafs, and the Washington Capitals. Stay away from these clubs. They're only playing twice. That's Anaheim, Boston, and Colorado. Let's start with the forward bunch. Now, all these players that I'm about to mention, unless I state otherwise, are all on the power play. Starting with Jakob Silverberg from the Anaheim Ducks. He just came off the IR, only 7.2% owned. Grab him. Kevin Hayes just recently came back from surgery and all that. He's been placed on the second line, 2C there, second power play. He is only 7.5% owned. Matt Duchene has been on fire for quite some time now. He's playing on the second line wing as opposed to center where he usually is. He's on the first power play unit as well. He's just under 50% owned. Stop the video. Grab him right away if he's available. Ryan Hartman from the Minnesota Wild. He's on the third line, but second power play unit, he's just over 13% owned. Andreas Johnson from the New Jersey Devils. I've got a few of them here for you. Second line, second power play. He's only 4.8% owned, as well as his line mate, Jesper Bratt. He's also on the second PP, just under 4% owned. And then Dawson Miller, again, on the same line. He's the center of this group. He's on the first power play unit. He's a rookie, but he's been putting up like a point a game almost, and he's like 3.3% owned. Pavel Zaka, also from the Devils, first liner, first power play unit. He's just over 33% owned right now. Grab him. Michael Granlund's been doing really well. Second line center. He's centering Matt Duchene. Second power play unit. Just under 19% owned. Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues. Second power play, first line. He's just over 42% owned. Nazem Kadri has been amazing, and he's only just over 23% owned right now. Second power play, second line. Robert Thomas for the St. Louis Blues. He's been really hot of late, and he's just under 4% owned. Second line, second power play. His playmaking skills are really coming along. Sean Monahan. Yes, he's over 55% owned. But he was playing on the fourth line for quite some time. He's recently been bumped up to the top 6, and he's also now on the first power play unit. So see if he might be available. And then lastly, Niels Höglander, who's been very hot recently, unlike the Vancouver Canucks as a whole. He's now on the first line, but that could change at any time. Second power play unit, he's only 6% owned. All right, so let's now transition over to some defensemen. Ditto goes with all these guys. Unless I mention otherwise, they're all on the power play. Let's start with Shane Gostisbehere of the Arizona Coyotes. Yeah. Did I say Coyotes? Coyotes. There you go. Enunciation. He's under 23% owned right now. And he's been putting up really decent points. He's a fantastic depth player. Second pairing, first power play unit. Then there is Oliver Shillington. Now, he's not on the power play, but he consistently puts up points. He's only 4% owned. On the second pairing, he plays with Tanev, and maybe that helps him just wheel and deal all over the ice. Then there's Cam Fowler, who's been good for quite some time now. He's on the second pairing, second power play. He's just under 50% owned, so he may not be available. Justin Braun, believe it or not, but there's an asterisk attached to this guy's name because not only is he not on the power play, but he was playing top pairing minutes, mostly because Ellis was out with an injury. Ellis is back and just played his first game, but apparently Braun was still on that top pairing. So maybe tiptoe around this, but he's got some good numbers, so think about grabbing him. Next, Moritz Seider of the Detroit Red Wings. Now, he's just over 56% owned, but I thought I should throw him in here. He's on the first power play, first pairing. I got him way back in early October. He's been fantastic. A gem here in Mario Ferraro. He's only just over 21% owned. He plays on the first pairing in San Jose. Although he's not on the power play, he consistently puts up points. Bowen Byram, big asterisk here. He's been even getting some power play time. He's only 26% owned, but it looks like he might have a concussion. And he's had a lot of those in his history, so who knows when he'll be back. Colorado's only playing twice this week, so maybe you just keep an eye on him. And then lastly here, I want to talk about the Winnipeg Jets' Nate Schmidt, who is just under 29% owned. He's on the first pairing and second power play, and he's been quite steady for points around the block there. All right, so now let's dive into... Oh, they didn't crack. Those are supposed to crack on cue. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about goaltenders. Now, there's only 3 guys here who are really, or maybe even just 2, who are true starters who could be available. And one of them is Koskinen. Of course, he's an asterisk because eventually Smith is going to come back. But believe it or not, he's got a .918 save percentage right now. And he's only just over 51% owned. I see him being picked up and dropped all the time. See if he's available. I think Edmonton plays 3 times this week. Then there's John Gibson. Believe it or not, this guy it just hasn't sunken in to most people, including myself, that the Anaheim Ducks have been good so far this season. And he's got a .921 save percentage, and he's only like 50% owned. So definitely grab him. And then we start sliding down the ladder here. Jonathan Quick had a bit of a rough start, but he's been looking really good. Of course, he shares the net, though, but he's got a .935 save percentage right now, and he's just under 14% owned. Then there's the guy he shares a net with in Cal Peterson. He's been a bit up and down lately, but the net should be his, for in the future. He's the younger kid. He's only got a .902 save percentage right now, but it looks like it's a 1A, 1B situation. He's only 14% owned. James Reimer for the San Jose Sharks. He's got a .940 save percentage at the moment, and he's just over 13% owned. Now, the rest of these guys, including the one I just mentioned, are ones you want to pick up on a back-to-back because they may not be the starter or may just be the 1B in that situation. So keep that in mind. Thomas Greiss isn't the best on this list. He's got a .909 save percentage, though, for Detroit. Just over 6% owned. Martin Jones. Yeah, I said Martin Jones. Got a .931 save percentage right now. Only 5.4% owned. Although his last game against Dallas was a bit of a stinker. Then there's Dan Vladar, who's recently been really good the past couple of games, especially against, Toronto, and then he played against Ottawa today, I think it was. He's got a .913 save percentage at the moment. Then there's Eric Comrie from the Winnipeg Jets. He's got a .926 save percentage. He's not even 2% owned. Look for him, again, on the waiver wire. And lastly here, Jeremy Swayman has got a .911 save percentage, and he's been really, really hot recently. Now, a lot of clubs will be doing back-to-backs this week. How many I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a lot. And there's even 2 teams that have got 2 back-to-backs this week. So let's start with... Now, most of them are Saturday and Sunday. Actually, all the teams I'm about to mention are. And that's Boston, Calgary, Chicago, LA, Minnesota, the Rangers, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. All play back-to-back on the weekend. However, there's Detroit, who's got a back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday. They play Columbus and Dallas. So look into their goalie situation. The Islanders, ditto, although they're playing Tampa Bay and Florida. Ouch. And then, on the weekend, they're playing Carolina... Or is it Calgary, and Toronto. Yikes. But, that's an opportunity for you there. The Capitals have a back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday against Anaheim and LA. That's an opportunity. Then they also have one on the weekend against San Jose and Seattle. And then Winnipeg, lastly here, has a back-to-back on Thursday and Friday, which would be an ideal opportunity for you to grab Eric Comrie, because he's been doing so well, and they'll be facing Edmonton and Vancouver. I would think Comrie might be in against Vancouver. We'll see. That's it. That's all. I wanted to keep these really short. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out. I also have a crowdfunding site open called BuyMeACoffee. You can find a link in the description box, and one on my YouTube page as well. If you'd like to support me and the channel, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Please be kind to each other in this crazy world we're living in right now. And I'll see you soon.